of hard work, perfection, learning from failure, loyalty, and persistence. Manners and behavior can take you where money can never take you. Cali shines in the building. Check it out again time, so go ahead and get ready, cause knowledge will be dropped on your mouth, growing heavy. Since you wanna be a super duper star, hot shot, roll with the top notch, blow up in a hot spot. Stop, pause, sit for a second. Class is in session, no need to raise your hand for any question, cause we gon' expose it all. Give you the rise and fall, a pro ball, like the feds, the track, the crash is the highest flight to height. Rookies don't know what you're in for. Sit back, relax, and let these veterans serve the info. That's why, none of it's a lie, yo. The moral of the story, don't believe the hype, yo. Cause what you see, the labs and luxury, to make a buck and bling ain't easy as what it seems. Hella things they go through, stuff they refuse to show you. From the news, from almost any interviews they go through. Let me show you all how the players play, how the ballers ball. When the lights go down, it's more than just a game. It can get nothing so insane when you step into it now. When the lights go down, let me show you all how the players play, how the ballers ball. When the lights go down, it's more than just a game. It can get nothing so insane when you step into it now. You got the fame, the fortune, reputation to scorch. And every time you see yourself shining, you just want more of it, as gorgeous as it is to be on top. Be so hot, having the finer things, from pop bottles to models to pimp whips, more jewels and slick Rick. And knowing you's a hero to the people can give the ego an intense slip. Quick, fast, you begin to brand. Club hopping, blowing your cash, acting silly Billy bad. Cocky just cause your wrist is rocky like Stallone. You wanna be on, so no one can stop you type of trip. Ain't that a flip? Now you slowly about to slip. Seduced by the power of having chips and all the chicks you want. Lord Jesus, temptation and greetings to one of the deadliest diseases for all majors to see this. So all you major dreamers that's trying to make it happen, let me show you all what's really happening. When the lights go down, let me show you all how the players play, how the ballers ball.
What's up, y'all? It's Chicago Millionaire Radio Show. I know I'm catching y'all in the evening, but it's 7 o'clock somewhere in the world, and we got to do our thing. I got the legend Art Aaron on here. Seven Nations High School, he did his thing. He did his thing in Northwestern. He one of Chicago's finest. Art Aaron, man, we got to give you your roses. What's up, big bro?
What's up? What's up? Glad to be on the show. Hey, man, nice intro, man. You had me doing a little DMX out there. Oh. DMX, man. I love some DMX, man, back in the day, man. How's it going, man?
It's all good, man. Thanks for coming on, man. You know, I've been hearing so much about you. I had you on a while back with the guys from the Boys and Girls Club, but everybody's just been talking about you so much, man. And I know you don't like to talk about yourself. You know, you let other people do it. But there's some guys like you that don't mind talking about themselves. So you are one of the ones that don't. So I want to talk about you tonight, man.
Okay.
Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Where did it all start for you?
First of all, you know, I always like to rep what side of town.
Okay.
I'm Chicago side of town.
Okay.
So
okay.
I literally was born on the south side of Chicago, 71st and Vincennes. And then my mom had an opportunity to go to the projects. We called it condos back then. It was so nice and clean. It was condos back then.
Condos.
Yeah, and that's why I learned how to cuss. That's why I learned everything happened there, man. Everything happened there. You know, I got down there and then, you know, it was heaven for me, because my mom allowed me to go down, and you know, we lived on the eighth floor. So I was able to go down at 9, 10 years old and hang out in the concrete, you know, watching these guys play and, you know, whole 9 yards. So that watching them play was like wild to me, because I've never seen anybody, you know, that age be that dedicated emotionally. Like, I want to fight. You hit the last game and they talking to your face and they want to fight. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about brothers fighting each other and cousins. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about just people just, you know, you don't know.
It got ugly out there.
No, all the time. All the time. And right afterwards, 6-pack of beer, a nice little Wild Hours on the side. And they're doing their thing until the lights kick off at night and stuff like that. So, you know, that's when it started to how I was an observer these kids nowadays, and I have nothing against what they do now, because maybe we've been better off as talent if we had trainers, if we had some of the old school guys. Hey, come on, let me show you some things, and come back here next day, and I'm gonna show you this, whatever, whatever. I'm saying, but how we learn, and I'm talking about, I want to put this out right now.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 9, 10 years old, I used to sneak to Malik House, which is right there at Jackson, and I want to say Sacramento, right in the area. And one of the guys I used to hang out with was Isaiah Thomas. He was the first one that we connected with, because we were just walking around checking things out, I think, and sitting and watching. You know what I'm saying? So, you see little kids kicking cans and running around playing tag. That was us, back in the day.
You and
So
Isaiah Thomas back in the day.
that was the first connection to a plethora. I want Stephen A. Smith, but a whole bunch of kids. I was surrounded by Hall of Famers or Hall of Famers to be at that age.
Wow.
I'll tell you that right now.
Crazy. That's crazy.
So yeah. So that mentality was always around me. Isaiah and I and a couple of other players that were around at the time, we would watch a lot of guys play at Malik House. When we got a little older, I want to say about maybe 10, 11, we started creeping over there at the Boys and Girls Club and watching. You know what I'm saying? And I remember being out there on the floor, but I don't remember getting the love just yet. But I remember when Isaiah got on the floor, and when he got on the floor, I ain't never seen anything like it. I never seen a kid had that confidence at 10, 11. One of my closest hoop friends, Ricky Green, he says, "Yeah, I remember Isaiah. He loved to shoot." I remember. And I don't. I'm gonna tell you what I remember. I remember him bringing the ball up, and it was so fluent and so easy, and him getting to spots to shoot. Remember now, we were learning this from other people. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm watching Billy Harris. I'm watching Sonny Parker play. I'm watching the late great.
You said Sonny Parker was like Tracy McGrady?
No. So
what did you say?
Tracy. So when I was older and playing, and I mean really just showing out, Sonny Parker said, "You the first Tracy McGrady," and I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought that was. I was flattered by that. I'm saying, so I was flattered by that. But my point to you is that I just grew up in that environment, man, where we learn by watching. Now, let me define that. We learned by watching, and we went back to our prospective neighborhoods, because Isaiah wasn't from my block. He was from from his family. And I remember, just practicing by myself a little bit, having fun. And then you really learn when you play 32 and there's about 500 kids on the court.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, but here's the other thing, because the journey cultivated all of us. I believe Isaiah's handles came from the broken ground. In other words, our ground, the courts weren't, paved with that sweet asphalt. It wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that.
It was uneven. It had a little uneven here. You had some broken pieces here. You know what I'm saying? And then when you learn the court, you know how to hop over it, get around it, things like that. Because to be honest with you, that was our first defense that we had to get past first. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, we learned a lot. And all of a sudden, I shot up. By the time I was in 7th grade, I was like 6'6". You know what I'm saying? So
7th grade?
I shot up so quick. I felt it. So, I mean, I woke up one morning like, okay, this doesn't seem right. My mom is 5'11", 6 feet. So for me to grow from what I was to where I was, she looked at me one morning like, "Who are you?"
Wow.
So from that point on, man, the hood embraced me so much. You know, I remember Coach McClendon. I remember, man, my first heartache with basketball. I wanted to play Isaiah and them. It was this other guy was around too, and we would go around and Coach McClendon came and come to this gym. We came to this gym, and I remember having these little weak, I don't know if we can cuss on here, but
Yeah, you can cuss on here.
these weak ass PF flyers, man. And I no, you understand? I burst through one of them, tried to play it off, and then burst through the other one, and I couldn't finish, and that bothered me so much. I had to go home.
Wow.
You know, so learn that, you know, let me get out of here. My mom that had no money, and you know, I didn't want to beg her for nothing because, you know, she had 3 kids trying to make it in the condo world. You know what I'm saying? Jets.
Right.
So we were over there at the Catholic Church where Mike Flager,
Saints
they
of
argued Saints of Minor, but his first introduction to being what he does was at our church. And he was like, you know, do you want to come work bingo? And I said, what the heck is bingo? Man, I got up there, man, between the smoke and them people running you crazy. I made my little $12, $13, went straight over to Halsted, because I don't want to use the other word, Halsted and Roosevelt. Halsted and Roosevelt, and bought me some All-Stars, them Converse. The Converse.
You said, I'm cooking now.
Oh, I'm cooking with gasoline. You know what I'm saying? But the problem was that because the way I played and because I hopped at asphalt, I would run through the basketball in a week.
Wow.
Holes at the bottom. That's okay. I'm going right over to bingo, make this little mustard, and come back. So, long story short, with that, by the time I was in 8th grade, I didn't realize that the word got out that they were talking about me, like in the city.
Ooh.
Because when I decided to go to, I went to a school called Quigley North College Prep. And that was because there were 2 guys who lived in my building. They literally tried to work with me. And they said, you need to go see a high school game. So I went to go see the high school game. I was like, okay, these guys can play. And there were some guys who didn't look like me out there playing for Rio. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm just, I'm being, socially conscious and etiquette right now. They didn't look like me.
Right.
So, all right, cool. Coach is like, I want you to come to school, whatever. I ain't never been handled like that before. My mom has never been handled like that before. So we go. 2 weeks into being there, we're up in a place called Angel Guardians where the Bulls were practicing at. And I at that time, I saw Billy Harris again. And I've never seen anybody just be that on, like, consistently, and make somebody think like you're not going to have a good time with me. You better find somebody else. So and he would give me these looks like, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, I'm writing down. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I remember that same practice. This young, glasses, kind of sandy blonde white guy. He came up to me, and my coach said something to my coach. My coach says, there's somebody want to interview me. And I said, what is the interview? Because I don't know nothing. I just want to hoop.
Right.
He pulls me over. He starts talking about whatever. And I'm looking at him like, yes, sir. Because my mom always say, make sure you say yes, sir, no, sir.
That's right.
And
That's right.
We finished it out. And he says, what is your name? Now, my government name is Arthur James Aaron.
Right.
In the Jets, the people around me could not pronounce Arthur, so they would call me Oscar.
Oh, damn.
My mom came from the country, Arthur. So the reporter was like, no, we're gonna give you a nickname. And I said, okay. So he started to call me Artie Aaron. And I said, no, it sounds too much like that big guy because Artis Gilmore was around.
Oh,
and to me, Artis Gilmore was big bro.
That's big bro right there.
And I would, work out with him and shoot around with him and things like that and play around. Like you can't catch it, but he said, if I do, it's all over.
Right.
So he said, no, I couldn't be called Art. That's too much. So he said, well, I'm going to call you Art Aaron then. I said, okay. So from that point on, the newspaper was every other day about that, right?
Mm.
And I'm just in my conference dogging it. I mean, just killing people. I average a lot of points, a lot. But the
Wow.
college coaches across the country is like, well, you in a weak kind of league. I'm just paraphrasing. You in a weak
You
league.
can cuss. You
You
can cuss. This is the night show.
right. You need to be in a. And I okay. And I told my mom. My mom told the principal at the school, and the principal at the school says, okay, where you want to go? Now they ain't say nothing to the coaches.
Mm.
They say anything to the coaches now. And when it finally got out that I was going to St. Nations, oh man, I think every priest and clergy member, man, hated me.
Wow.
Like I was LeBron James going to taking my talents to Miami. I'm serious. I'm so serious, dude. I ain't never. But I'm gonna share something with you. I'm gonna share something. When I was a freshman, that first 2 weeks, I told you that Taylor Bell was the guy. But I was supposed to play on the varsity team.
Right.
And Coach Listecki, Coach Safer, I'll give him his name. He was like, listen, they don't want you to play on varsity. I'm leaving, and I want you to come with me to Wheaton High School, and you're gonna play all 4 years. And I looked at him like, nah, I ain't never been past Roosevelt. I don't even know what you're talking about.
And we far now.
Now, I don't even know what that is. But he went on to say, to this day, I don't even think I've been in Wheaton, to be honest with you. To this day.
Right.
He went on, and the problem he went to my mom, and he sounded like, look, I'm gonna relocate you and your family in a house in Wheaton. And my mom looked at him like, dude, he crazy? I don't know
Right.
him like that. Because you
Right.
talking about this is the 70s.
This the 70s, right?
We still trying to get along. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Here's this guy out the blue shit.
Yeah.
So that was my first, I think that was my first open experience to like what that people were seeing. I didn't see it because all I did, I loved to play. That was it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So by the time I went to St. Nations, man, and I just walked into that bedfellow, man, and I said, okay, I guess I'm famous now.
Wow. You
Because
went to work up in there from
man,
day one?
I remember the first practice. It was wall to wall coaches and scouts everywhere. The one that stood out because he just stopped me in the track. That's just two. Dick Motter, who used to be the head coach, he was a coach at some place. He's like, man, I like your game. You can shoot the ball. I'm looking like, who was that? He said, Dick Motter. Okay, how you doing? I didn't know who it was.
Right.
And Bob Love, the reason why Bob Love's still out, because he was a tall guy. You know what I'm saying? And I remember him from the Bulls. But at the time, he was doing some scouting for the University of Seattle, and he gave me a lot of love. But it was a dream, man. It was my coach Rich Kehoe's. That was his first job. So I walked into like heaven, and it was a magical thing. Now, let me get to Mark and Isaiah.
Okay.
Those two dudes, and among all the other ones that are around that didn't have the same caliber of stardom, starsmanship, and things like they did. But
Mm-hmm.
those two dudes, um, they literally gave me things that I understood to be very good at what I do on the court. And the one thing that we used to do a lot is we used to work out a lot. I know me and Isaiah, Mark back in the day, but mostly me and Isaiah, we used to work out a lot. And the thing, we were like, man, we got to go in here and shoot to make these 1,000 shots. And I said,
Wow.
okay.
Y'all was doing that way back then?
Way back then, let me tell you something. We wasn't shooting 1,000. We were making 1,000.
Making 1,000.
So after that first session of making 1,000, I couldn't miss nothing.
Wow.
So that was my habit after that. You know what I'm saying?
You had that
I mean,
muscle memory.
see, by that time, by the time I was a senior, Isaiah was already at University of Indiana. And he was, all right, you got to understand, man, when you go to this level, they're going to try to change you. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He said, no, because, they want you to be a certain way in that environment. But you got to remember, man, where your dirt come from, because that's your magic. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay. So I literally would go home, get a little dirt from the Jets, right from the ball. I call it the ball garden because it wasn't nothing there but dirt.
That's right.
And put a little bit in my gym shoes, dude. I used to do that for real. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then when I decided to go to Northwestern, it was not an official visit. I They told me to narrow it down: Oregon State, Illinois, Purdue, Iowa. Okay. So Eddie Johnson was my. I told you I was around. I was around these guys, man.
Right.
Eddie Johnson was my mentor for Illinois. So I went around and we walked around and got to see. I met the coach and the coach looked at me. And he looked at me like, and I looked at him like, and I said, I don't know if I want to come in.
Who was the coach at that time?
Lou Henson, man. Who
Lou
else?
Henson was there when you was there. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Well,
man.
you gonna go there. Okay.
But he was really cool. It just seemed like he had what he needed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I left there and came home. And I remember my coaches from Northwestern came, and they were talking that Coach Falk had these blonde hair and blue eyes. So I'm looking at him like, okay. But this other guy had the same blonde hair, blue eyes too.
Right.
He was Iowa. What was the Iowa's coach at the time?
And what year was that? 19 what?
That had to been, if I'm making a decision, 80. So he went. He said, Art. He came into the Jets. Look, Art, I'm leaving Iowa and I'm going to Arizona.
Oh dang!
And I want you to come with me.
Was it Lute Olson?
Yes, it was.
Lute Olson. Okay.
Man, the late great. Yes. And the only reason why I didn't go is because I had the same thing. I didn't want to be too far away from my mom, my dad, my mom, my mom and my brother and my sister, because anything goes in the project, man. At least I know how to get to them and get to the right people to make sure everything is cool. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And trust me, we've been through some things, man. As a family, we've been through some things that made me feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I called Northwestern up and said, look, I want to come up there and just kind of like hang out, but I don't want to make this my official visit. He said, okay. Man, so they got Michael Jenkins, who was there, got us right there. It came up, and we went to the gym. And I remember this, man. I remember this to this day, that as soon as I got into the gym, I walked in the middle of the court and that NU sign was right there. And I looked at coach, and the coach at the time was Coach Parent, who I love him to the moon and back, man. I said to him, this is where I'm going to be for the next 4 years.
Wow.
So on that, when I was standing on that end, I remember my last home game. I was standing on that end, and they had to give me a tissue, a towel, man. I was balling so hard. So that's how I got to NU, and I kept my relationship.
4 years there.
I played all 4 years, man. I was lucky, or maybe my team was lucky. I don't know. That the day before practice, I broke my ankle.
Oh, damn. What year? Your freshman year?
My freshman year, somebody tried to take a charge, man, in a pickup, and my coaches wanted to strangle him down. And I came down his foot. I ain't never had a sprained ankle in my life. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the things I said, man, you had to get your ankles taped. And I said, what is that? Because something about college and that plan and people playing aggressive, you might twist your ankle. And I said, I don't even know what that is. So long story short, I twist my ankle, man. So I was out from November, December. January I played. They let me get in the game, was at Michigan State. And I was like, okay. And just went crazy. You know what I'm saying? And man, I went crazy. And the only problem was that I was in shoot mode, but I wasn't ready for shoot mode. But I was definitely in. My mentality was, and I don't think a lot of guys get this. My mentality was, you need to fill up as much as possible all 4 categories.
Right.
Making your points. I tried it. I at least 34. I was trying my best. So my goal was 15 or more. But I only played like maybe 8 minutes in a game. So I was showing out.
You were chucking them boys up. You
Oh my
got 8
goodness.
minutes?
Oh man. But and I come back to that in a second. Rebounds. I must have at least like 9, 10 rebounds at least in that span period. Because I enjoy putbacks. Block shots, assists, steals. I wanted to get all that in. Because to me, I thought that was the mechanics you need to help turn the tides to win.
That's
You know
it.
what I'm
That
saying?
is, right? That was though, right?
Yeah, but it still is. But everybody, that not many people thinking that way. They may think that one guy may think I'm gonna do a whole bunch of assists, a couple of rebounds, and I'm gonna make maybe 7 points. That's not how that works.
No.
You gotta have that impact. You know what I'm saying? So the things that I try to do, if I was missing in a position whereas my teammates were able to do a putback on me. So my plus minuses didn't it wasn't with a negative. It was always a plus on the court. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's good.
But the thing about it is that Mark, Isaiah, Skip Dillard, Terry Cummins, we knew that.
That's
You know what
your
I'm saying?
era. All of
That's my
them
era.
your era.
We knew that. You didn't have a lot of mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make mistakes like throw the ball away just because or off my foot. In my mind, I'm like making no mistakes because if I was the type of creature was like, even if I had a good game, the mistake I made, I'll be born like a baby in the car with my mom or whatever.
Man.
I'm like, that's 2 or 3 points I could have put on the board. You know
Wow.
what I'm
So
saying?
you were never overly inflated. You were never
Oh my
overly
God.
inflated athlete.
No, man, I tell my kids now when I train them, don't ever show your emotions of what you did or you didn't do on the court. Be in the car.
Right.
My mom said, "What are you crying for?" Because I had, man, 2, 3 chances to do this and that. I couldn't, and I was like, "That ain't never happen again." my mom said, "What do you know? Family counseling, something like that." I said, "No, I'm gonna be good next time." I remember being on the bench, and they didn't want to play me. The coaches didn't want to play me, and that little West Side came out like, and my mom was up in the rafters, and I remember I was like, straighten up from all the way
Oh
up in like
yeah, you
all the
heard
way up
him?
in the
You could
rafter.
hear
Yeah,
it?
man. Yeah. But I get what she's saying. She was when you engage, even though you're not happy, not being you're engaged. But when you get in, because you're engaged, you're already mentally in the game, as
Yeah,
opposed to
yeah.
coming up. You finally get in. Okay, I'm
Come
here.
off the bench pouting. You was
Now,
pouting.
that don't always work. You know what I'm saying? That don't
That don't
always
never work. Coaches hate that.
work. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it works. But I'm saying. So, long story short, man, I remember playing, and they finally let me start. And when they said that, I said, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that."
You ain't get that spot back, did you?
I didn't give a spot. That if my thought wasn't about the spot, and I always tell players this too. Coaches have a different mentality than most people.
Mm-hmm.
They have favorites almost to a fault.
Right.
They will lose with their favorites, and
Yeah, they will. Yeah,
you
they
got
will.
people you got people on the bench who's been dogging them
Yeah.
and practice so bad. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I was able to start and but did well, man, to the point where I remember one of the victims was Ohio State, Clark Kellogg. Man, we got in that. Oof, I went off on that one,
You
and
did when you played
my,
Clark Kellogg?
I was playing against him. Now here's the deal: Clark Kellogg at the time was a senior, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
know he was upset. Not the fact that I had what I had, maybe 22,
Put you in the
23 in the
back.
game, but Northwestern beat him. So now he was doubly pissed off about that. You know what I'm
And he
saying?
was lottery. He was a
Here's a
lottery
lottery. You
player.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But here's the other part about it. The tone I was trying to get our team is we gotta let these people know NU ain't the same no more.
Mm-hmm. And they
We
just academics.
yes, it is, man. But
We hooping
NU is
too.
very picky about who they let in their environment, and
Right.
I get it because the academics is so important. At one point, I got lost in just being a student athlete, and I almost didn't get back in.
Wow.
But because of the favorite that the whole campus, they were like, hey, and you ain't here for basketball. This ain't
Right.
prep school.
Right. I mean, it's prep, but it's preparing you for life.
Wait,
That's one of the
this
number one
this ain't
schools, man.
this ain't prep school. It's just basketball. You got to do this. This is what you're here for, and this is your job.
Right.
And and that put me on a different mentality in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't come home from summer school. I'm saying I
Right.
stayed up there,
Right.
and
You stayed up there year round?
I had yes, man, all 4 years, dude. And let me tell you something. Um, the Bears used to work out at the football stadium.
Oh, wow.
And I ran into the greatest a couple of times.
Walter?
Oh my good, well, man! I set up. I'm watching him get his ankles taped up, and I'm sitting there. He looking at me like, "You all right?" And I'm saying, "Yeah, man. I'm just. I want to poke you. You real?" And he was a
Oh,
little dude.
goodness.
He about this big,
Wow. How
man,
tall
but he
was he?
about this wide, huh? He
How tall
had to
was
been
he?
maybe 5'2", 5'3",
Damn,
maybe.
Walter.
But he was so wide, man. But the conversations he had about my endurance, how to stay, in shape, and how to work out, and the mentality and things like that. That whole, what I'm saying, because he had that voice. I'm gonna tell you what's up, man. This what's going on. Him
Right,
and Prince used
right.
to hang out. I believe him and Prince used to hang out together. But he taught me. Vince Evans was another one.
Vince Evans was a bad quarterback, man.
and I
And that man
always
used to
say,
throw darts, man.
people don't understand the history of Chicago until you meet these guys, and that's only if they see something in you that they can talk to and relate to. Because not
Mm-hmm.
everybody in that position. Most people are in fan mode. Could you sign this, please? Who you can take a picture? You say other people like, okay, how you doing? Whatever. What you doing? And then all of a sudden you got a connection. Gail Sayers, same thing. I
Wow.
was around these people. You know what I'm saying? So my mentality was
Wow.
always been like, they gave me that mental work ethic that I needed to
Right.
succeed. By the
Those are
time
great
I was
people,
a
man.
right now,
Those
by the time I
athletes.
was a sophomore, I tell us, and I've never said this, and I hope people can hear this. Even though my junior year we went to the NIT, that was the first time ever we've done any type of winning like that ever.
Wow.
The year before was the second best team. That NIT was the third.
Mm.
So the year before, because to me, everybody matured up. Mike matured up. Andre Good was there. That was his freshman year. To me, he was another KD because he could shoot
Right.
the lights out, can dribble and everything like that. We had a lot of players that had leveled up. We just couldn't close those games. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, well, if you just give me just 3 minutes, you give me 5, I can do it. But you give me 3 minutes, I can't do it. Didn't care about starting, man. I was just like, just put me out to close it out. I'm good. So I remember that year we beat Indiana. That my sophomore year, and
Wow. Indiana.
I must have
That was
16,
Bobby
17.
Knight was the coach.
Bobby Knight. Now Bobby Knight was different. He
You
was
said you had 67.
no man, 16.
16.
I would
Oh, okay.
in 8 minutes. No. So
Okay.
and
That's big, though.
huh? Oh, that's
That's
it's huge.
good.
Man,
You
I
was
got hurt.
efficient.
Wait, man, I'm telling you, I got hurt with 16, 2 minutes, a minute left to go in the game. I got hurt and I couldn't shoot the free throw. And I was so pissed. I was sitting on the bench and the game was over. I'm still pouting like, oh. And Bobby Knight goes in between everybody to shake my hand. And I'm looking up at him and I said, what's really going on here? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So things started to change, you know what I'm saying, for me. So like I said before, so that year, that to me, that was the second best team. The first best team, the best team I believe was my senior year. And my senior year, I believe we had 4 people who got hurt. Got young guy named Chris Berg, who I thought if he had been around, he'd have done a lot of damage and helped them do a whole bunch of stuff. We had a 7-footer. I think he hurt his collarbone or something like that. We had a guy who's 7-footer. He messed up his leg, and then right, and then we had somebody else who got injured, which put us in a position we had to use a lot of freshmen to come out and play. Barb, if we didn't have that, I'd probably been starting the 1. Andre Good started the 2. Paul Show started the 4, and we would have had a 7-footer, and we had another guy, Brian Pitts. I'll never forget him. About 7 feet. He might weigh about maybe 180 or 7 feet, but he had a vertical, man, down there 45, 50. He'd been in the game.
7 feet tall?
Oh my God, man, he could jump out the gym, you know, and I was
right there.
No, but
somebody Troy say, Art, I think you played with my guy Sean Watts.
So Sean Watts, to me, he reminded me of a younger version of Michael Jenkins. But I used to scream at him, man, if you don't shoot the ball, I will. If your butt is wide open out and you send the panic, I will get you, wave you, and I will shoot the ball myself.
You ain't had no problem with putting that ball up.
Let me tell you something. If anything, I knew the consistency of making sure that if we're going to win, the impact has to be offensively. I'm a creature of this. They say defense wins games. I was like, okay, I don't think so. More points on the board wins games.
You're damn right.
So if you playing a team like Illinois back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Ephraim Winners, Anthony Welch, you do have it was a couple of other people, but if you had those, and every spot was talented. So as much as you think you're playing defense, you got to play offense to equal them or better to win. Now, I have to say this, a part of my offensive repertoire was I enjoy taking the ball from whoever.
You was an on-ball defender.
Give me the ball. Off the ball, and I will help out off the ball if somebody wasn't looking at these long Spider-Man arms. Give me that and keep on going. Wow. So my main thing is that, it wasn't like I was a hog. It was like I knew how to be able to make sure my team knew that, okay, well, I know what Art's going to do. And that was, hey, man, game time, give me the ball, dude. Come my way. Don't go nowhere else. Give me the ball. I told that Michael Jenkins all the time, man. He said, Art, you ready? Yep.
I never seen a shot I didn't like.
Wait. In the middle of the game. Art, yep. Because he can feel that game slipping away. Nope. Give them to me. I got you. You saying? So, it was an enjoyable ride. Now we get to the professional part.
Like though, yeah. So what did your senior end up like?
So I got some nice acclimates as I was finishing out my senior year, and people don't realize that once you leave college, you get invited to showcases. That helps your ability to be marketed and your
visibility, right?
Well, but also it also brings up that you'll be able to be marketed higher. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I went to a whole bunch of those type of tournaments, and I won all of the MVPs. So ACC versus Big Ten MVP. They had something on the East Coast MVP. So that put my my value at like a low or mid-range second rounder for the NBA.
Wow!
Thanks to Al McGuire from Marquette. At a time when Billy Packer was in good standings, they were like, "Come on, Art, we're gonna showcase you."
Right.
So, day before, I get a call from my coaches that Ron Thorne was like, "Hey, you're in the top 50 senior camp. Get ready." Now,
Nice.
let me explain something to you. In order for you to be in the top 50 senior camp, in order to be in the top 50 senior camp, say that about 9 times, I guarantee you, you have to be seen as being a part of that world.
Right.
Ain't nobody will want you to do me a favor. Ain't nothing like that at all.
Right. This is
So
real analysis. This
it's
is real.
real. This is
Right.
real.
Right.
So now what
Okay.
happens is I the day before, I'm coming to the gym. I'm just gonna get some shots around. And one of the dudes did something and touched my ankle
Oh, damn.
on. So I'm walking around limping. My coaches were mad at me. It was so hot. I said, I'm
Damn.
going anyway. So if you don't know about when you get your ankle sprained in college, they put this tape. It's about half an inch thick around it, so you can't like you playing on a cast.
Right. I remember that tape and that white
Man,
tape.
I went to that bad fella, man, and I'm coming in limping and whole 9 yards, and I get there, whatever. And I'm talking to the coaches. One that stood out was Red Auerbach. I had a chance to sit down with Red Auerbach, man. About 10-minute
Wow.
conversation. And I'm looking at him like I'm having a conversation about my livelihood. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
And what's the guy who used to play, coach for Utah? Jerry Sloan. Had a conversation with him.
Right.
A lot of people from LA and everything like that. So we get out there and play. Tony Campbell, John Stockton, this guy, who else is out there that you would know? It was a couple of guy that went to North Carolina was one of Michael Jordan's boys. I forgot his name. He was my roommate at the downtown hotel down there. He got out there. So we were doing our thing. I didn't do as much as I wanted to, but they said, "Oh, we got you still at the like second round, whatever."
Wow.
So here's the part that I always say: the things that I did not know, I learned now to be able to pass on to kids who literally need to know. I didn't find out what round I went. I couldn't even tell you what round. All I know is I got a call from Coach George Carl, and he was like, "Okay, you made this team already." And I was like, "Mm-hmm."
George Carl.
Yeah,
With
George Carl.
Seattle.
Well, right at the time, his first coaching job was Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
I got drafted to Cleveland, high fourth round. And
take that hat off.
if you were to look at the 73 or 74 picks, 72, 74 picks, a lot of them were big guys.
Right.
Mike didn't go first round because of that, because he came out that same year. Barkley came out that same year. Sam Perkins, all these guys there's going to be Hall of Famers came out that year. You know what I'm saying? So Michael Jordan came out that year. So I got sent to Cleveland. I walk in now. I'm in shape. At least I thought I was. Because when I talked to Terry Cummins, he said, "Look, what you got to do is you got to play and run. You just can't be running and not play, because when you just run, you're not actually working on your skill set.
Right.
But playing, you got to play 3 or 4 times a day almost. That's how in shape you got to be." I said, "Okay, maybe 2 or 3. That's what I was doing, like every day." Get there. I don't know if you remember a guy named Daryl Space.
I heard of the name.
So I'm seeing some of the guys from the hood get drafted 6, 7, 8 round. They were gone that same day. So I'm there, and there's this guy named Ron Anderson. Ron Anderson is about maybe a little bit taller than Mark, about 6'6", about 6'7".
The skinny, kind of skinny guard.
Oh no, he was not skinny.
Guard.
No, he was about maybe 220, 225.
Is that Nick Anderson's uncle?
You know what? It might be, but it might be.
That's him. He played in the league, right?
He played in the league. Let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
So remember I told you went to the NIT, right?
Right.
I mean, at the NIT, we lose to DePaul and the last minute jumper. They win. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. The team if we beat them, the team that we have played next would have been San Francisco. Fresno. So No, Fresno State. Ron Anderson was playing on Fresno State. If we had played them, and I would have got off, I would have been the second round pick instead of
Right.
him, right? But
Right.
they picked him, right? They let me go. I know what that was. All
Dang.
right, what happens next? So I get home, get to the office at Northwestern, and when my coach said, "You better stay by the phone because people been calling." I said, "Okay."
Mm.
So I get a call from Phoenix Suns, and this is the part I sent this little tidbit note uh, 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 about my journey. People kept asking the question, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" So here's what happened. when I got the phone call from them, they said, "Look, this was Coach McCall on the phone. I want you to come up. It's going to be an official tryout." And I said, "What is that?" He said, "I want you to come out and just play. And if we like you, we're going to sign you." I said, "Okay." So I get out
Mm.
there. Now, if I don't know, if I have never really been out of the state like that,
Right.
Big Ten, whatever, but not in that type of heat before in my life.
Wow.
Phoenix Suns, the Phoenix, Arizona is hot, then a hot.
It's hot.
Hot. And I'm like, you know, I sometimes like, do I got a little? I got I might have a little Sweden in me because I couldn't stand it. I don't know if I can, stand in Africa or heat like that. I got a little Sweden in me. I don't know. I might have Sweden. So I'm getting there, dude, and it's hot. I'm like, can I perform? But when you walk in the building, they ice you out with the air conditioning. And the only reason why I said that is because I came in and I was so happy that they had the air conditioner on. Man, Larry Nance was there. The late great Paul Westphal was there. Alvin Adams was there. A couple of other ball players, and they had this one guy who was I guess he was trying to guard me. I can't remember his name, but he was from University of Washington. And man, I went off, like like off.
Wow.
They stopped it. Coach McLeod sat me in front of him and this guy, and he said, "Look, I'm going to take this guy because this university has a lot more basketball tradition of winning, whatever, whatever, whatever." What that
Mm.
translated was in the program, people come and watch them because they've heard of the University of Washington. So it had some kind of a draw.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Northwestern didn't have it like that.
Nah.
Not as strong. But
Nah.
that but what he wanted to do was, I'm going to send you overseas to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, I ain't been no place in my life like that. I don't think I had a
What the
passport at
hell?
that time. I ain't know
Right.
nothing. So he said, "I'm going to send you overseas to Italy." And I said, "Okay. And then we're going to bring you back." So that was my contract. What they wanted to do
Oh.
was to build up my value, to build up my marketability in the program. Northwestern, over Italy, Avishon, and here we go. Now we can give him market price, whatever, whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Know that. You know what I said?
What's he say?
"No, coach. I think I'm gonna go home and get my degree and then get back out here." Man, if he had a drink like you did, he'd be like, "Wait,
Wow.
wait, wait." He'd have been like, "Wait a minute.
Are
He
you
just said,
sure?
no, he didn't say that. He just leave me a pause. He says, "Okay," because in his mind, he thought that was honorable of me to go back and get what? My
Your
degree.
degree. Yeah, that
But
was honorable
on the business end, I know he wanted to shake the crowd. Like, dude, how much?
though.
How much Northwestern? 15 grand? Dude, you about to make 200,000 over to Italy tax free?
Right.
Man, go ahead and take that little money. Go ahead and finish up later. At least he
Wow.
didn't say that, but
He was definitely thinking it.
he was definitely thinking.
He was definitely thinking it.
So
But you didn't even
so
take it. You didn't take the money. You
I
didn't. I
didn't
mean,
take
you
that.
didn't
No,
go.
I said no. I came back. So I went back home. I got my degree. I cried boohoo tears when I got that bad fella. I went overseas to France, played over there, came back.
Nice, man.
But when I came back, all of a sudden I get this phone call. Billy McKinley is GM or president up at the Bulls organization. Jim
Oh,
Stack is one of the
wow.
scouts. you know, he saw me playing in his tournament and everything like that. He can't stand losing against me. I love him to the moon and back. He was like, man, you can't be beating me in these summer tournaments like that. I love him like that. But he was like, dude, you should be playing the league. And I'm like, well, make it happen. Here's my number. So I get a phone call to come on out to be in the 1987 Pro-Am in Los Angeles. NBA Pro-Am. And now I'm playing against Dennis Rodman, AC Green, Paul what's the guy from Milwaukee? No. His name's Paul something. Paul Presley. Oh man, I must have stuck him up 3 or 4 times, man. Just like this. I don't know.
You had some government picture in you because he was a real ball handler.
He's real ball. Well, that day,
on TV,
I think he was like, man, you too long. Give me that ball. Now you don't think about it next time.
Wasn't he up there with you?
You know, if he was, you had to look it up, but I don't remember him, you know, being in that in a draft situation like that. You know what I'm saying? So I remember Rick Carlisle. I got drafted before him. Now he's gonna probably retire, be on the Hall of Fame because he's that type of coach. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So long story short, you know, I played out there, man, and I did well to the point where as Coach Winters, one of the most prolific and Hall of Famer coaches in the NBA. Dude, you can play in this. He said it like that. He said, you can play. We got to put some muscle on you, but, you know, you can play in it like every day. And I would listen to him, how he coached and how he viewed things. Because he would sit next to me and he would say things and I was like, you know, just picking my brain to see what my IQ is. Right. And it was a fantastic experience. I remember Doug Collins came down. I had a game, man, was so good. Doug Collins came all the way down, and the coaches ain't supposed to mess with nobody. He came down the middle of the floor, tapped me or something. You played a good ass game. I'm looking like,
Doug,
man, Doug, then we coach, man. So I'd love to play with him, man, because he was like, get the ball to Mike. I'm like, okay.
That's all you would have had to do, because Mike was missing like it wasn't shit.
Hey, wait. I'd have had 10. I'd be a triple double. I'd have been 10. That's why Rodman was so successful. Right. And I had some passes for his ass, the whole 9 yards. So at the end of the day and everything, God bless Jerry Krause.
Right.
He says, Art. I'm like, okay, here we go. He said, let's go, man. We get the limo. He's driving around. He's like, look, you played a terrific camp. I really want to get you in, but I don't know how I'm going to get in. And here's the other part of the business aspect of it. Jerry Krause, I know you like me. You're a cool dude. I would love to play for organization. At least give me a 10-day. A 10-day will put me in a position where the people who saw me pick me up. I appreciate it. If not, thank you. I appreciate that.
Right.
I didn't know what to say. I didn't have an agent to say that.
Damn.
So the last thing he said to me was, I'm going to take care of you. Now, take care of you means I'm going to call this guy up and say, look, I got a guys come out there. I forgot his name. No, he didn't say that. It was, he sent me to the CBA and the coach, I can't remember his name. He said something to me. He said, oh, your jump shot is slow. And I looked at him like, I started to say, I felt like it was Mark Aguirre. I started to say, you don't know who I am. You ain't see the beards I got. You know what I'm saying? You ain't see none of that. And the only thing you talking about is my jump shot is right. Man, I walked out of that place so fast, man. So that is exactly what happened. The lack of having a certain resource. You know, like if you and me were friends, man, call me home, man. Let me know what's up. All right, Ron. I will. And they said, look, hey, coach, I got to call home, man, because they asked me before I make a decision. I had to call you and be like, dude, what is wrong with you?
Right, exactly.
Wait. A lot of the young people say that. What you mean?
John Reed said Durrell Space, he played at Farragut and Malcolm X.
Yeah, he was.
He said he was a killer. He used to jump out the gym.
Yeah, his name repped him.
Wow.
He was about maybe 6'3". He
You
had the
say his
longest
name
arms.
Rifkin, his
He
last
had
name
the
Space.
he had strong legs, man. He had the longest arms that God can give you. You know what I'm saying? And he was
Right.
sneaky and bump you, and all of a sudden he'll take off. Now, nobody has ever dunked on me except for one person.
Cool.
Ever. Tony Martin. I don't know if you ever heard of this
I
guy.
remember the levitator. Was he the levitator?
Yep. Tony Martin was the exact same height, built, hops as Clyde the Glide Drexler. Exact same.
What? Tony Martin was 6'8"?
The exact same. And we
Wow.
messed around in one of the gyms, just doing some shooting around, at one of the gyms. And I'm sitting at the jogging, and he says, "Art," and jump and dunked him. And I was like, "Dude, don't ever do that around. This is my world. What's wrong with you?" We're real close, man, because of that. One of my closest friends, man, in high school, man, is Glenn Doc Rivers.
Oh, wow.
And we keep in contact with each other, man. And I looked at his journey and everything like that.
He's
You can
going
just
in
tell.
the hall now.
Yes, he is.
You just
I
got
told
down
you,
there. Damn, Art, you've been around some heavy hitters, man.
man.
But you one of them, though. That's why I want to stop
What?
you real quick and just say, you've been around all of those guys. Do you ever sometimes think, man, it wasn't my opportunity to take? Because you was right there with them, though.
I'm going to say this to you. I believe that certain people are placed on this planet to be the resource that they didn't have.
Yeah, man.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and do I feel sad about? I don't feel sad about it, because if I tasted it, if I was out there and actually tasted it,
Then
you know what I'm saying, it'd be different.
If
You know
you'd
what I'm
got
saying?
a couple checks, if you'd went in there,
Got a couple checks, right?
Like,
Then it'll be different, because people say, "Did you play in the NBA?" Yes, and I'm looking like, because my nation's been like, I wanted more of them checks, but mostly I love that crowd, I love that swish noise, and I love, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I wrote something, man, and it was I was doing a survey, and they asked me what year, if any, that you would think that you were going to change something. So I talked about that year, not more like the change, but I was giving people who I took their article and gave it to certain people. I wanted them to understand the reasons why I did not reach the expectations that I would like to have had. And a lot of people thought that I was. I don't do drugs. I tried weed one time, man, and I thought of the whole country of freaking Jamaica came up and knocked it up. You can never weed again, man. You can never have weed again, man, because you're not supposed to go to sleep and eat everything after that. You know what I'm saying? So I tried that. Drinking, man. I don't get drinking. I ain't against it. I'm just one of those self-control freaks. So it wasn't any substance abuse. It was literally God said, no, this is as far as you're gonna go.
Wow.
But because of my impact, because I still have those relationships with people. So one, I'm going to say, I don't want to talk too much about it, but Michael Jordan is probably my biggest impact, because we had a chance to play against each other in underground. 1 o'clock in the morning, we go to the gym, it's packed like I don't know what, and we going at it.
Dang,
And
1 o'clock in the morning, the gym packed?
Packed. Oh my God.
Y'all was in college campus or something?
No, man, we were downtown Chicago.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and there were times like that, and to have somebody like that look and just say, "Yeah, he's decent," and I'm looking at him like, "Oh, don't say that," because we can go right now. Because we ain't on that stage, dude.
Right.
It's right here. Let me let you have it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm decent. I'm better than decent, damn it.
Well, not just that. You take it to heart. Decent mean role player to me. I ain't no role player. Wait. You hear me? Decent mean role player. I'm not a role player at all. You understand? If you ask anybody, no, that dude is not a role. He will use role players to help to win, but he's not a role player. That's what decent mean to me. You know what I'm saying? And he did it out of like respectful humor You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'll tell people this right now: if you he by himself and around people similar to him, he's one of the coolest guys I ever met.
Michael
You know what
Jordan.
I'm saying? I mean, one of the coolest guys I ever met.
I could imagine, man. I could
Yeah.
imagine. Might seem like a cool dude. I just think he probably get tired of people asking him for money all the time. But I mean, he's been in the league forever.
I believe I don't think people ask him because I don't think
Okay.
he puts him in a position where people ask. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. People like who are very at that level. The last time I saw Isaiah, I was doing a job. I'm a network administrator, and I was doing a project with the Chicago City Colleges, and at the headquarters, and I ran to Isaiah, and it was funny because when I ran into him, I wanted to say hello, and they had bodyguards around. I'm like, what the hell? He said, no. So we hugged, and he asked me, so what do you want? And I said, I just want to have some sweet potato fries, a cheeseburger, and a pop, and just talk about nothing. That's all I
Wow.
wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's what all of them, Mark,
Right.
Glenn, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about you doing anything for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think that's what they want to hear. They like that, man.
Well,
I
on the
think they
other
walk
end,
around with that little angst on them, like I know somebody finna
somebody's
ask
going to ask me
me.
something. But here's the other part. Because I'm familiar with them, that's how I am. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm not, gym shoes. And I'll be honest with you. These invite me, come on by the house up there, Highland Park. I'm like, no, my brother. I'm good. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
no.
Oh no, man. I'll go out and hang out at the club. So real quick story on that. Foster Park is like the indoor court of Rutgers Park.
Of what part?
Rutgers in New York.
Rutgers.
So Foster
Okay.
Park right now, I was invited, and there were half the people there were NBA hoopers. And what they did was they used to have these runs that were up to 50.
Mm-hmm.
Out the net go. So when you got to 50, that was halftime. So you switch sides. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So that part developed, through the years. I used that setting to kind of get that Jones out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was, I was in that mode. So one day something happened, and I ran to Michael Jordan up at his restaurant on Roosevelt, 57 Blue or 50 something Blue, whatever. And Richard Dent was there. They were out there playing cards, and he was jaw jerking, yada yada, whatever. And, all right, we about to go to the club called Nine, and I'm like, I don't know what a nine is, but I'll look it up.
Right.
So you know how it works, Rod. Come on, man. You go out to a club, you getting there, what, 11:30, 12 o'clock. That's when they kick off, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because you know what? I'm going to get there a little early. Because, I'm not trying to stay because I'm trying to get up to go the next day. That was a Friday and go next day. So I get up to the, to the NBA run at Foster Park.
Right.
I lived all the way up damn near by Evanston, like Howard
Dang.
and Sheridan. So I'm coming all the way up there. So I get there, and these dudes are sitting around and like they were the knights surround tables or whatever. And Mike's in the middle, like da 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 da. I'm like, dude, what are y'all doing? He said, "Aren't you late?" I'm like, "Late for what?" They have their, we just ate and everything like that. Man, whatever. So we were talking, and he started talking, because we had a game or whatever. He started talking about, and I said, "Mike, come on, man, don't do that." No, no. All right, cool. Come to Foster Park. He said, "What time?" I said, "Don't do that. You ain't gonna come." He said, "Yes, I am." I said, "Dude, your navigating system doesn't go south. It stays downtown up north. Trust me on that.
Right.
You got to
Right.
redo your navigation because he had a Range Rover back then."
Right.
He got laughing. All right. Man, I think I left that bathroom about 2 o'clock in the morning, and it looked like he was hunched over, people kind of drunk. I get back. I woke up because we got to be there at 8. It's a little later now. The run starts at 8. I'm looking like, oh my God, it's like 7. Let me rush in here real quick, take a shower, and just run. Get on the way. I get them at like 8:10. In the middle of the floor, stretching like I don't know what.
Mike.
sitting there like, you late. And I'm like, damn, dude, you showed up for real? It's home. Man, we played. They had some guy, I guess he was getting drafted or whatever. And he was on my team, man. We were killing him so bad. He was like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to draft you. I was cracking up. I was cracking up. And I was giving him, so I said, dude, this ain't the same, man. You got to come out here and play for real.
Damn,
And we played so hard, man. That was the first time I think he realized I really can hoop, because when we met before, we just played and it was a commercial. We played in this little game, and it got real heated. I'm like, he started talking shit, I started talking shit to the producer, like, all right, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? But from then, we became kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? We're cool and everything. Like, and I think, that's my story, man. I mean, I cannot begin to talk about the love I have for all the hoopers that came around me, like Tony McCoy and Carl Harris and Trash and Lil Hand Leach and Homer. All these guys, man, Rock, all these guys, man, were around me. We were young, man. We used to hoop so hard, man. Hoop hard and play hard. And they recognize talent. Not just the talent, but the talent that want to win. You know what I'm saying? JJ Anderson, man, my big brother from another mother, man. That dude right there, I have never seen a guy that do what he do so smooth. I try my best to mimic him to this day. You know what I'm saying? I said, look, y'all got to be this, because I watched him score 45 points and with 10 minutes left to go in the game. I watched him do that.
Man, y'all generation was more loaded than any generation.
And
there was so many of y'all that played ball. Most of y'all played baseball, basketball, and football.
Let me say something. Let me say something. I know you got to go. Let me say this to you. The games that I played at Northwestern, if they show any of that, people are like, damn, the motherfucker can play. Now, back then, if you had some of the recorded on YouTube, some of the games these guys played, man, you just don't understand, man. You don't understand, man. If they did the pro-am tournaments, you know what I'm saying, the high school games, if that had videos of that stuff, man, you'll be like, oh wow. It's completely different now. The videos back then would have been like, did you see this guy score like 5 points, 6, 7 points straight? Like just past half court? That's JJ. That's Mitchell Anderson. Right?
Right.
Now the problem is that this generation, they show all this handles, whatever, flip, whatever.
Right. You gotta all of this.
You gotta be in shape. And here's the deal. To all my D1 people who want to be D1s and AAUs and things like that, these college coaches really want to know if you got basketball IQ. Really want to understand, do you understand the concept of boxing out? Do you understand the concept of rebounding, talking the court on defense? Do you understand the concept of peeking or popping back out, playing without the ball? Do you understand these things? A lot of players don't understand it. You see a lot of mixtapes, all they're doing is shooting. Can they do other stuff to make the game look easy?
Right.
That's what they're looking for, because it's high school. Remember now, it's high school. This portal has changed that. You ain't getting a lot of people getting, scholarships out of high school unless you're 6'10" and you dribbling, you shooting, you know what I'm saying? You're not.
They looking straight for the portal. They said Dan Hurley said that after the game last night.
And then if you do your first year, if you're not playing, you need to be working out like you plan, like you need to be there next year. You can't be just stalemate. Every practice, they need to see you getting better at what they need you to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All it is a simple aspect of defense with the ball, without the ball. Get the ball to the star, get out the way, do your thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can't do that, even if you went to the portal, they're going to see it unless you got a lot of people behind you pushing you. That's all I got to say about it.
And they looking for people to fill spots when they go to that portal.
These people, when they pick you out that portal, they see everything, and they go to coach and say, "He got an attitude problem. Am I getting the limit? He like a Mercedes Benz, but he may have an engine like a Pacer. You never
Right.
know. You know
What
what
do
I'm
you
saying?
say to the guys not having a legacy though? They're going from school to school. They'll never be able to go back like you
Let me
did
let me let me let
to
me, let me say that,
Northwestern and say, "Hey, man, this is my alma mater."
man. You are so
They don't have an alma mater.
it is so different now. And I had a conversation with a magnificent group in my Northwestern world called the N Club. When you come into the environment now, a lot of these people you ain't seen, they've been to another college. Okay, let me put it in perspective. One of the richest men in America at Northwestern. Hey, Art, how you doing? I'm doing good. How you doing? What up? Good to see you. Great. He says, you know what? You represent Northwestern well. Now to
Mm,
hear that from him, that's because I went to 4 years and he saw me work hard to make that push
that's
to
right.
get to that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These kids are coming in. So it's a different environment. I don't have much to say other than whoever's coaching, I hope you can adapt.
Right.
I
Right.
hope you can adapt because, I mean, Michigan, a couple of years ago, they weren't like what they were now. I mean, literally
No.
2 years ago.
Juwan just had them. I mean, they had a terrible record a couple of years ago, but
And
Juwan did his
even when
thing a
and
couple of
and
years
e- and
before.
even when one wasn't there that year afterwards, they didn't play well at all neither.
No, no.
Now all of a sudden, the portal was kind to them,
Yeah. Gave them
whatever
all the
that
top
means.
players. They got
And
all the good players.
NIL, the whole 9 year, whatever that means. Now you sit on a championship, great Big Ten win because everybody eating the Big Ten with that.
But
You know what I'm saying?
okay, all right. So they said most people are saying similar in nature to Illinois. We don't know how to feel about it because we don't have a connection with the players. They're saying the same thing about Michigan. They're
So let me
saying
let me let me
those
let
are
me let me
portal
let me say
kids. We
this.
don't know.
Let me say this. Michigan's in Michigan, so I can only speak about Illinois. When you have players who put the Illinois banner on their chest, you got to give them some love because they could have been someplace else doing the same thing.
So regardless of where they from, they
It's what's
represent
on your
Illinois.
chest. It's what's on your chest, what you getting in ideals for, what they see in front of the whole world. It's representing your school more so than you individually. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So that
right.
that that whole mentality is 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 different. And I'm gonna say this, I'm kind of glad, because they'll get it because these players are getting paid. And I wish
Mm-hmm.
they'd go ahead and get that NBA reparation.
That's all I want. I was talking to somebody else about that, man. They owe us $1 trillion. I'm like,
Well,
man, when can we get that?
man, I don't think they should just cut people off from that point. You know what I'm saying? I think they should get anybody who was in a position where it's either they were MVP of their team or they lettered all
Mm-hmm.
4 years. If you just
Yeah.
came in half a year, I don't think you get. But if you let it all 4 years, man, give me a piece of that change too. I like to have
Mm-hmm.
a card to say I'll pay for all 100% of your dental, 100% of your health, because
Man,
because you wore yourself out doing that thing. You know what I'm saying?
that's right. That's
I'm
right.
saying so.
And
You know,
you know what? They trying to do a better job with these guys now. What do you think about it though, man? What's going to be next for the NIL though?
I think that I think it'll get better with how uh, the the player and the sponsor. It'll get better with their contracts. It'll get better with how they how they how that how that happens. Because if I didn't do well, then I shouldn't have an NIL. If
That's
I
right.
didn't play, I should not have an NIL. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? Because
I agree.
how you gonna market something and you still got your warm ups on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That don't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my main thing to you is that you know when you get an NIL deal, don't clap because that's a different job. You got
Yeah.
three jobs. You got to be a
And you're
student.
getting taxed. You're getting hit by the agent, and you're getting taxed by the government. And from
Welcome.
Liam told me that. Liam told me about a kid he knew who got a nice NIL, but he didn't pay his taxes because he didn't
Well, I think
understand
that
the
should be.
tax.
I think that should be a standard with the contract that that automatically happens. I don't think it should be left up to the family and a young player with his family to do that because it's
It
just
should be
too
taken
much
out off top.
off the top.
Yes, you
I
know
think
they're not gonna do it
they're
because they
not well.
don't understand it.
Yeah, we're gonna write all that off. That's a lot of write off.
That's a lot of write off.
A lot of
You
write
ain't
off.
lying.
You
You
know,
ain't
so
lying.
my thing is that the business aspect. You know, my phone is about to die. I need to put this thing on the charger real quick. The hold on a second. Hang on.
Okay. Yo, if y'all just tuning in, I'm in here talking with the legend Art Aaron, man, from St. Ignatius High School, also Northwestern University. He giving us all the jewels tonight, man. He going deep back into the days, man. He grew up. I didn't know he grew up with Mark McGuire and Isaiah Thomas. Played with those guys, man. So Art Aaron is giving us some jewels, man. Y'all hang up. He's charging his phone up. He'll be right back. In the meantime, in between time, United States, they got to fix the problem with college sports because college sports has turned into professional sports. And most of the kids that's in college, they more mature than the guys that's in the pros. So what's next for American sports, y'all? What do y'all think, man? Somebody drop it in the chat. What do we need to do? Because they're not drafting these older guys. Okay, go ahead, Art. I forgot
So
we dropped
when,
off at.
when it comes to, let me put this in real quick. Perfect. When it comes to, so my thing is that college to me now represents the platform for professionalism now. Before it was an amateur status thing where people are making a whole bunch of money off of us.
Yeah,
I mean a whole bunch.
whole
That's
bunch of money.
a whole bunch. To the point
Life-saving
where
amounts.
when you graduated or you didn't, whatever the case may be, you maybe you weren't as successful financially. You say you maybe the injuries that you had place whatever. I'm saying when you give your life up, your physical for 4 years, that's blood, sweat, and tears.
Mm-hmm.
You should look at some of these people's X-rays. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now what happens is that you're getting money now. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think everybody on the squad gets something.
I think they should. I don't think it should
No, no,
just
no, no,
be
no,
one
no. I
kid.
know. I know for sure they get something. The only ones who probably don't get anything is the walk-ons that's on the team. I'm saying
Yeah.
they get something because everybody who's coming in there at one point in time had that type of I was the man in high school. I was a man in Florida. So who's ever on that bench came with that acclimate. You know what I'm saying? So they got something. The
Yeah.
question
You're
is
right.
can you keep that? Can you keep that something by your gameplay? If you got 8 minutes in the game, they may pay you maybe, 50 grand. You know what I'm saying? If you got 15 minutes or 20 minutes or even 30 minutes, they may pay you, 200 grand. You know what I'm saying? I don't know too many people making a whole bunch more than that. But I'm saying is that it's just like the NBA. There's a book that Mike Jordan had when he first came out. It talked about his contract that he had to score how many points, whatever, to get the shoe contracts. You ever read that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I read portions of it. It was incentive based, right?
but that's the NBA, how that broke down to. And the other part is that Air, that movie that
Mm-hmm.
talks about how his mom was influential. I'd say every mom and dad should watch that movie
Right.
because it teaches the business aspect. Because now it's your baby you represent. And if you don't represent your baby right, your baby can be in some financial straits.
Man, I tell
Like
you what, Michael got it right though.
he got it right. So people say Magic Johnson is the man. He was that
Magic got it right too.
right. But my point
But I
is
think
that
Magic, most of his money come from investors.
so
Mike
so let me
made
let me
all
let
the
me
money.
let me let me throw something to you. So before they became famous, they had to do stuff to be famous. Magic was the guy that passed a lot, whatever. And I tell people this: Magic should make sure that whoever he passed it to the most and caught that bad fella, he should be paying them too.
That's right.
Because you ain't Magic if he ain't catching it.
You're
You know what
not
I'm saying?
Magic without Byron Scott and James Worthy them over there on that
James
wing over
Worthy,
there.
Cooper,
Kurt Rambis, Cooper.
Cooper, but
Yeah.
James, I love the James Worthy thing. If you ain't got people to catch that bad fella, Now, Mike's different. Mike's different because he had to catch nothing. You said he really passed nothing. He was doing his thing.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna throw a little
right.
twist to you. I'm gonna throw a twist to you. The first time and the only time I met Scotty was on a commercial he did. I was a part of called Flight. Remember the flight shoes?
Yeah.
Let me say something. If Scotty was on this thing right now, I hope he hears it. I know people right now would literally sit down, put things together, and create a formula for your shoe that's going to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They
I
got
don't think you
marketers,
understand.
man. They got
No,
marketers for that.
I don't. I don't think. No, I'm saying this is that apparently they don't because I thought his shoe was nice.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that at the end of the day and everything, the players, what they do now, and their performance should make money on the college level. It
Mm-hmm.
should. It should. But the question is, are you mature enough to understand what you need to do to make sure that happens?
Right. Which is most is not. Most not.
Probably not. You got to. It's and you got guys that coming in as juniors through the portal. That means there'll be seniors coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost positive they got to NIL deals. Okay, what
Mm-hmm.
happens after that? What are you going to do after that? Because your NIL deal ends, if I'm not mistaken, because I could be wrong, when your collegiate career ends.
That's the thing. That's gonna be the downfall. Because when that money drop, they're not gonna know how to go get that kind of money.
And to me, I'm okay with that because if you have been through the seminars, if you've been through the classes of financial responsibility, because there are some NBA greats, there's some NBA greats, but there's some NBA players, old heads, they're creating platforms to help people in those positions understand financial responsibility. So
Right.
so hopefully you'll run across an agent, NIL agent, that has that complete packet.
Right.
If you're
Right.
not, then all you're doing is say, just give me the money, I'll do it myself. You don't know how that trial and error with like that type of money, that's the work to me. That's the work. Remember I told you, because I didn't get in there and do my thing, I didn't get a taste for that. But now you get a taste of that NIL money and you mess it up, man, you be walking down someplace on Madison with a fifth or something, talking about something. I'm losing my mind.
I'm losing my mind. Like Jaden
Because
Ivey. I mean,
everybody's saying to you, man, where all that money come from? Why you do that? You hear that constantly. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So my thing is that I just say that I believe that everything that's going on is in its beginning stages of development, and it'll get better. You know what I'm saying? It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be some nick and pull because the colleges can't do anything about it because now it's an NCAA rule now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So they got to work with that. But that portal is different. You know, one thing
Man, but it
I
be
don't.
more kids in the portal than it is positions available.
So let me say this about the portal. The portal to me, only reason why you go is because you've been getting people saying, "I'll take you."
Mm-hmm.
If you just going out there barefoot just to see what's up,
Man, you're gonna blow it. You're gonna blow it.
but
Because
here's the thing about it.
only looking for certain kids, man.
They already know what they're looking for. But
They
here's
already
my
know what
point
they're
to you.
looking for.
Here's my point. What happens if you don't get that? You go back to your team now. You go back to your team. They can't not take you back. Man, that disposition is different now.
But I mean, if you leave, you definitely don't want to try to go back though.
No.
And
I'm
that
saying
coach gonna have some bad,
yes.
bad
Yep. You waking up and you ain't gonna be looked the same after that. Okay, so that
Yeah.
it's a tricky situation, man. It's a tricky situation. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to explain is my thing is like this. If you do the portal, you better be like you was in high school and you had everybody and their mama looking for you.
Right.
Because now you got leverage. But if you got one person looking for you and he looking at three or four other people, whoever pulled that trigger first, I got him, and you ain't the one, now you got to go back to the house and like you used to.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how that works. So, but here's the deal. I love to be in that position myself right now.
Me too. Ooh, they owe y'all retro though, Art. They owe y'all retro. You did the
Oh
thing
my
back in the
goodness.
day.
Oh
They
my
gotta come
goodness.
on with y'all retro checks, man. From back
Man,
in the
I
day.
do. I don't want. You know what? I'll take a check. It don't have to be big, but give me
No, we won't give you
100%
that back.
dental. Give me wait. Give me 100% dental. Give me 100% medical, and then make sure that I get a percentage of something coming in. Don't just give me one. I want something that's coming in every. Just to say thank you for being a part of that brick NCAA platform.
That makes sense.
I'll take that. Don't
Makes sense.
Oh, we're gonna give you 50, 60,000. No, I'll take 20. You pay for the death do our part, all my mental and my dental. I mean, if I want some Denzel grill, you paying for all of it.
That's what I want. I need me a Denzel grill. I want
Denzel grill,
me a
baby.
bling,
If I want,
grill.
if I want some hair, it should be a part of my.
Man,
It should be a part of that.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Man, I
know we've
appreciate
been
this,
on
man.
for almost an hour and a half. And I know I can do another 30, 45 minutes. But you gotta promise me, man, you're gonna come back on, man, and do part 2.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna say this before you leave. I remember seeing you at the Chicago Legends, and you looked at me like, dude, I didn't know you would. And I'm looking at you like, shh. Tell you what, because if this day everybody starts seeing this, now hey, how you doing? Hey, I saw you last night. Now I can't go to the store like I want to.
Right. Oh, I did say that, didn't I? When I saw you.
You did. Hey man, I appreciate you to the moon and back. I appreciate you more because you are a involved dad with your boys. People don't realize how much that is important to this day, and they're older now.
Yeah,
people don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? So I pray.
Basketball, while it may not have worked out like they wanted it to, the school part and all that other stuff is really, really helping drive their future. And that's what was most important for me, man.
Right.
Because basketball will break your heart.
It would. But let me tell you something. You were there saying, son, if I'm just letting you know, if you were making it. If you weren't around, it would have been very hard for them to deal with it.
Yeah, man.
People don't realize how important dads are to their boys and the girls. They don't realize that we know mom is all that and some because they get the Mother's Day.
Yeah, but fathers, man, are the number one piece to the puzzle.
Man.
That's why our family struggles so much, because we have not put the emphasis back on that like it should.
On that. And not every father is doing what you do as a daddy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So our goal is we want to cross them. And man, if you want to talk about how to be a dad, let me let you know. That's our goal. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We don't beat nobody up when they're down. You know what I'm saying? We lift people up. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm gonna end this. You know what I'm saying? So peace, my brother.
Thanks to the legend Aaron for coming on, chopping up with your boy Bobby Reed. He's gonna do part 2 next week, man. He's gonna come back on and we're gonna talk about the city of Chicago, man.
My goodness.
What we need to do to rebuild the circuit of Chicago.
I'm gonna do a Bernie Mac cussing up on that one because I got some funny stuff, dude. All right, man.
Without further ado, my man, Aaron, thank you, man. God bless you, my brother.
God bless you too now. All right, take it easy.
Get out of here. Peace.
Okay.
Peace. Get out of here.
When the lights go down, let me show you all how the players play, how the ballers ball. When the lights go down, it's more than just a game. They can't get up so insane when you step into it, man. You either a winner or a loser. Choose one. If you think you got what it takes, then gonna do some. And so then let me school some of y'all about the game, man. Let me explain rule number 1. Trust nobody, simple and plain. Get what you came for and fall back. And never sell your soul, bro, for that tall stack. Say true to you to what you do and keep it humble at all times. Move for the grind and everything will be all fine. This is the wanna be baller shot. Caller, all of you stop falling for all of the crop. You saying all of those new papers to the TV, to the internet. It's easy, so sleazy. If you design time for talking goofy. So know the do's and don'ts before you start to clown or be another statistic when the lights go down.
I'll show you all how the players play, how the ballers ball.
When the lights go down,
it's more than just a game. It can get rough and so insane when you step into it now.
When the lights go down,
let me show you all how the players play, how the ballers ball.
When the lights go down,
it's more than just a game. It can get rough and so insane when you step into it now.